morning.
Morning.
Busy time for you, I see.
Yes.
So tell us about this, the expo happening on the 12th and 13th of March at the Sandton Convention Centre. What do we see? What happens at this expo?
So we've had this expo for 7 years, and over the years what we have done is made sure that it evolves into a marketplace, and that's what I prefer to call it, because that's where we expose locally made products to buyers and to consumers as well. So anyone looking to buy locally made product knows that they can walk in and they can find those suppliers of those locally made products. Because one of the questions that we had been confronted with for years was, how do we access those local products if we want to support the cause to buy local and help grow the economy and help reindustrialize the South African economy. So that expo serves that purpose. So we bring in buyers from the public sector, buyers from the private sector, and we also open it up to consumers. So consumers can walk in, and that's why we host it on the street level at the Sandton Convention Centre. So
you
that
can buy there.
As an ordinary citizen, you can walk in and buy anything you want.
So if I have something that I want to exhibit, what's the process if I have something that my product?
So it's a little too late for anyone to come in at this point because it's exclusively for members. So anyone who joins Proudly South African will then be in a position to can exhibit at the next one. So we have a lot of new exhibitors coming in this year who were not necessarily part of the expo over the past few years. So we continuously discover new products. We have new members that come in with exciting products. It's a first come, first serve. We only have 200 exhibition stands, but 200 top-class South African products that are showcased at the event on the day, over the two-day period.
The two-day period. Well, I see you have some amazing sponsors, so hopefully this will go a long way to getting to what's the word that you're using here, localization.
Sure.
And yeah, just explain some of those partnerships for us.
So the partnerships involve companies that are localized, that produce higher quality local products, that use a lot of local content in their production processes. So think AB and Bev with SAB and Cancelara containing about 95% local content. I think Coca-Cola Beverages South Africa, where they produce a lot of the products that end up on the shelves locally. Sasol is another one of the sponsors. We have other partners that are not necessarily producers, but have enterprise development programs. So those ones support and bring companies that are part of their ESG programs into the summit so that they can showcase their products, because it's access to market. One of the things that companies battle with, South African companies rather battle with, is access to market, making sure that they capture bigger share of their market so that those businesses can stay afloat. And what this expo seeks to do is to make sure that we support SMMEs through the expo and the summit. So the summit runs on over the two-day period, but on day one we focus on SMMEs. So whilst you have a conference that talks about how to support SMMEs on the one hand, on the conference side, on the expo side you have the same companies being supported.
A conference and expo. Well, I'm particularly interested in the future design competition. What are we seeing? There's a fashion activation also taking place. That sounds very exciting.
Yeah, so we've added new elements to the summit and expo. The furniture design competition is one that the DTI runs, and what the DTI seeks to do is to unearth new designers and to make sure that these designers can be exposed to those that will then give them opportunities going forward. So there's a youth side to it where they call for entry attracts young designers who don't necessarily have exposure, but on the other hand it then calls for entry from established manufacturers, furniture manufacturers, and there's the culmination of that competition which started running in the latter part of 2018. That is the one side of it. The other side of it is where we have the South African Premier Business Awards, where Minister Davies and his team partners with Proudly South African and Brand South Africa to recognize companies that are performing excellently in the South African economy, and there's 10 different categories, and the call for entry is out now, so companies can go into the DTI website, they can go into SA Premier Business. In fact, we only opened the call for entry on Monday last week. So there's all those elements that are part of the broader Buy Local Summit website, and what we're calling for people to do is to go into buylocalsummit.co.za and opt to either register for day one, which is the SMME workshop, day two, which is the conference on local procurement and localization, or to attend both, or to register to just attend the expo.
Just be a part of it.
Yeah, just be a part of it.
Well, wonderful. I wish you all the luck. Let's see what happens. It's almost a month from today when this starts, and nice to keep an eye on what Proudly South African stuff is out there. That's Proudly South African CEO Eustace Mashimbie joining us just to chat about that happening next month.